Hey guys, Sam back here with you, middle of the day, well, I guess early afternoon, Monday, September 25th. And I thought we'd finish up our review of the majors with Dash and Litecoin here for the day. And interesting. I thought Dash would be a good one to start with because it's moved differently and markedly so than Bitcoin or Ethereum or even Litecoin, which we'll look at next. But let's take a look at Dash. Let's see if we can learn anything and if there's a trade setting up here. So, I'm out to a 12-hour of Dash against the dollar on Bittrex. And we can see this very nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we had, and we finished with 5 in 5. It was just beautifully technical. Beautifully technical. Well, we've had the same kind of correction as everything sold off in early part of September. We had a correction in Dash, as you'd expect. Now I'm going to go down to a 4-hour here, and we'll look at this a little bit more closely. So Dash, this was actually quite similar to Bitcoin. We came down to that previous pivot high, which ended up being a one wave high, and found the support there, and we had this huge reaction up. Now, unlike Bitcoin, we've reacted impulsively with a very clear, clean 5-wave structure off of this low, giving validity to this ABC. Potentially we're complete with that correction in Dash, and now we're off again impulsively. Right, and the reason evidence in that C low being a good low, in addition to the good structure, is because of the move that's been impulsive off of that low, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm going to go down a little bit lower here to the 1 hour, and we'll really break it down. All right, so I've left the wave count on here. I'm hoping you can see this here, and let me get maybe a brighter color. Okay, so here we have the one wave, retrace down on the 2, up for the 3. It qualifies. It's not the shortest wave. We come to the 4. The wave 1 holds the wave 4, and up we go into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that impulsive move. Okay, beautifully technical, just perfect fib trading, perfect Elliott trading. Everything's lined up. It's all good. All right. Now, as we start to correct that, as you would expect, we're going to correct a 5 with a 3. Well, we get the sharp move down, right? Which because of how quickly that moves and the length of time from the 5 to this low, the probabilities would suggest that that's too soon, too small amount of time relative to this 5-wave sequence for this correction to be over. Not that it doesn't happen. It does. But the probability would be that we need a little bit more time to complete this correction and a little bit more structure to it for it to look right. So we could confidently start up to approach from the long side again, because we now believe that the low is in. We've had an impulsive move higher, so we're looking for long opportunities in Dash. Well, if that was going to be our low and we were just going to go, straight down into some sort of a correction, then we were going to go off 1, 2, 3. Well, that was a possibility, but we don't see it. We end up double topping here, which would suggest that this is simply the ABC of the B wave, right? And it happens to be just beyond the 786 of this. So you make the case that it's 2 attempts to try and get to new highs. Both of those fail, and now we're heading lower. But within this, as is very common in a B wave, you're going to see a clearly defined 3-wave sequence. Now I'm going to take some of this wave structure off just so it becomes easier to see. All right, we can leave that on. Okay, so if we're coming down now, where's our likely target? Well, we know that there tends to be a relationship between the length of the A wave projected from the B wave, and the most common target would be 100%, which I have marked here in this purplish color. So that would be down here. Now, note that that's very close to our 50% retracement of the entire move, swing low to swing high. So this is a real potential target for us to be looking to be a buyer. We also come into the 1 to 2 wave, which is a common retracement zone for a C wave here if we're going to move higher. But just wave count aside, you know, we see a nice move higher. We're looking for the retracement at the 50, if nothing else. If we're just keeping it simple and keeping the Elliott out of it, we're looking for a buy around the 50. Well, so this lays out rather nicely. Now, we don't have the kind of nice, clean, impulsive structure we'd like to see in that C wave. So we may have an ending diagonal here, which would be threes and a lot of threes. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, potentially 3. We get a little 3 wave here. So as is common in an ending diagonal, you'll get a lot of threes, right? Because the market is not showing any conviction on either side, and it's resolving this correction. So you know, we also can pay attention to the fact that we've gone below the 618. We happen to wick down to the 786, right? And then from that, so we're kind of stuck in this pocket here. There's no clear trade. I don't think there's a long here. You're too far from the swing low. To me, the better trade is to wait and look for this to come down a little bit lower. Realizing that very well could take off here, and then you're just going to miss the ride. And then you'll just have to wait for the next decent retracement that you can get on board. But this certainly doesn't look impulsive. It looks corrective. So I would propose to you the most likely outcome is we're going to come down and resolve lower here, lower down in this zone. And again, just keeping it simple, there's the 50. That would be a natural target. So if we get somewhere in this window between 303 and 295, you got an $8 window there. That's a good looking entry. Good looking entry for Dash if you're looking to get long, as I am. So I think that's one to set some alerts on, keep a watch on it. This would be the first place that I would want to be alerted to if we're approaching the 100, the 100% of the ABC. But this is one to watch for any change of character. If it starts to move impulsively, either up or down, that's going to be a tell for us, and perhaps creates the next opportunity for us to get in the market. Currently, I propose to you, if you're not in, better place to be is on the sidelines, waiting for more resolution. Moving over to Litecoin. Now, Litecoin also trades incredibly technically, clear evidence of algo activity in here. So as we approach this, we would want to first approach it as simply as possible. So I've got a 4-hour here. This is Litecoin against the US dollar tether, 4-hour on Poloniex. So, it doesn't look exactly like Bitcoin, but the direction is, often taking its cues from what's happening in Bitcoin. So we've had we had the nice run up, and now we've had this massive ABC correction down, and the just pulling fibs. Right, I've left some of this wave count here. Just pulling fibs. We're still yet to even get to the 50% for the all the way halfway back. Right, from the swing high to swing low. We've yet to even get to the 50. But if you take a note here, we don't have impulsive characteristic here. This looks corrective. And we start to, so I have to check and see if that was the 38. Give me a second here. That may have been the 38. Yeah, so we wicked the 38 a couple of times. So the market's weak. Market's weak. We get a shallow C wave here. If this was an A, B, C, it certainly doesn't look impulsive. And we wick the 38 and then we roll over. And where do we go? So we come right down to, you see, you'll recognize I like to draw these little boxes. So we come right down to the 50. And then we start to move higher. Right? There's a little box 50 to the 618, potential entry. That's a very valid trade. Upside here is not enormous, but you got an upside here up to 63. So if we're going to head that way, well, take note of the fact that the negative 23 off of this 50 lines up perfectly with the 50% of the entire move lower. So a reasonable target if you're long off of this. But now what we want to see is some sort of impulsive character to this. We want to see if indeed, and I'm on a 4-hour, but if we have a 1-2, we want to see this impulsive structure here, this third wave, start to show signs of impulsiveness, and we're not really seeing that right now. You know, it's much like all the cryptosphere right now. It's you know, you could use the word choppy, but I'll say it's unresolved, right? So we're here, you know, and look, we go right into the little pocket that I like to draw. So we go right into that little area between the 618 and the 65, right? So the little wick is likely stop running. So we go right in that little pocket, and then we've stalled here, and we're starting to pull back on that. So you could absolutely make a case that the trade here now is to be short, looking for resolution lower, right? You at least come down here to the 618. So much like Bitcoin, much like Ethereum, we're just caught between these two fibs. So, you know, again, I propose to you that one scenario is simply be out of the market if you're not in, waiting for resolution here so we can get some more clarity, some more conviction about where the market is likely to move next. Right now, it's unclear. It's just a move from one fib to the next. So is there a trade? Well, I propose to you that the trade now is to be short, looking for a move from where are we here, from 52 down to 42. So there's a $10 swing potential trade there. Again, we're not hitting home runs, but that's a nice little trade. Nice little, very low risk, very low risk. On the side of the 65, if it starts to roll over here, that's a nice single. And if you look at it from a risk reward scenario, that's a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. If we blow through this and we start going higher, where's our next likely target? Right? Now we're just keeping it simple, right? And as I will often propose to you, simple is usually the most valuable. If we're going to go up and test the 50 of the entire move lower, well, that coincides with the negative 23. So, you know, we have a target here. So if this turns into 1, 2, we get a 3. We're looking, we like 2s and 4s. We're looking for that first retracement into a 4, which would lead us for a 5 up into this 63, 64 zone. Again, hitting singles. That's all the market's offering right now, unless you're long here. With a simple trade off the 50. Otherwise, you got a short here, or you're on the sidelines looking for more resolution out of this fib range, so we can look at what's the characteristic of the move, what's the next likely outcome here. If we get impulsive, we look for the retracement. If we start to roll over here, we look for this to come down and test the 618. Right? Right now that looks corrective. Right, because we don't have anything, no push beyond the 618. So potentially we got a B, and we're going to go down one more time for some sort of a C. Do we get some sort of 5-wave sequence there to give us some clues? Hard to say. The other thing that I would do here when I see a setup like this is I'd pull the median lines on it and take a look at that. All right, so I've got a modified Schiff median line here. Let me simplify it for you. I'll take off the 1.5 and the 2, so you just see it as you would normally see it. Now I've modified the Schiff. I have the modified Schiff here, so all we've done is go up 50% of this distance and put the median line at the 50% mark. Right? You can see it right at the 50 there. You see how that does that? Right. So here was our test at the 50. And likely target now, assuming that these are good pivots, we have an 80% probability of reaching the median line. So we've got everything lined up here as a potential target to the long side, except we smack dab at the 618. So is that the trade to take on the long side? I would propose to you not. Because you're not really wrong, until you take out this low. Right? So it's not a good risk reward trade, and you wouldn't want to get long right into the 618. You just not a high probability trade. Now, if we get on the other side of that and we come down and we retrace to that level, then you might have something. Then you might have a trade looking to get up here. Right? This is not a get rich trade, but that's a nice. That's a bread and butter trade, hitting singles. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And Litecoin trades very technically. very technically. So there's some potential targets for the long side. Here's your next support zone on the short side, and again, maybe the best place to be is on the sidelines till we get some resolution. All right, that covers Litecoin, and we'll wait and see how Dash resolves. So that'll be it for the majors today. If I got something else to share with you, it'll be up soon. Okay, guys, that's it for now.